Blue. For now, we will have many battles because again, we have 74 players in the server. And I think after the warm-up draft, we are ready with day 2 of the SNC 2024 here.
Yeah, we are, and it really is an event in which there is no time to reset and no mercy. You have an hour and you must perform. There is absolutely nothing you can do if you find yourself in a bad position 14 minutes in. It is very hard to reset map to map in a way that might be possible in rounds, right?
Yep.
In rounds, you sort of have that chance to mentally reset yourself from round to round, from map to map. You can shrug off a poor result and you can really sort of make up for your performance on a different map. But I feel like Time Attack is a lot less forgiving in that sense. And if a player finds themselves struggling early, it might just be a day to forget.
Yeah. Yeah,
A
that's
day to forget with great consequences for the finishing position of their team after the free qualification events. Because, as a reminder to the viewers, the 20 teams will be split into 5 divisions, 4 each. And obviously, with the cash prize on the line and just pride on the line, every team will be looking to maximize their finishing position to get themselves into a higher division. I think
so
for the
true.
top 4 in particular, currently there is a very interesting battle going on with
Yep.
PNE Orange only 10 to 15 points ahead of FKX Platinum and DGF,
Yeah.
who I think made an excellent showing in the rounds. It has to be said that everybody on that team, Kush, KWS, Miraco, Goro, I think, had several amazing rounds, but also Casper, Lucky Shot. Everybody on that team stepped up massively in terms of consistency, and they are putting the heat to PNE Orange, where Mew, for instance, had a bit of a week to forget, and Job might not have had some of the finishing positions that he might have been personally expecting, while Truo was actually doing some very heavy lifting to keep them in 4th place.
Yeah. He did
Uh,
amazing in that weekend, yeah.
Yeah, I think Truo, one of the individually strongest players in rounds mode, which is not something that you would have expected to hear in 2022. And I think he might have been struggling a little bit in matches, but he has absolutely turned it on, and he is reminding you why he has that PNE tag in front of his name,
Yeah. Very
why he
true.
is a absolutely spectacular player. We are beginning. Our
Yeah.
15-minute clock starts now.
Let's go. Here we go. All players ready. And 15 minutes for everyone. So, as they are getting ready here, because of course with Time Attack we are maybe waiting a bit to see the first great times pop on the leaderboard. Do we have anything specific to say about this map? Map number 1, Dopamine map. Very interesting drop down, I think. And maybe some other interesting key elements in this map. Can you maybe
Yeah,
walk us through it?
I mean, this map is certainly interesting with that drop down, but I also don't think that that drop down is really an element in which you can gain or lose a lot of time. It's interesting, but I don't think it will actually impede players in any significant way. In fact, this map I think should be very comfortable for most players, at least in my humble opinion. It feels to me like most players should be very familiar with the curves here. I also feel like because this is Time Attack, you can more or less risk in almost unlimited capacity. If this were a rounds map, maybe I'd feel a little bit different about it, but
Yeah, I agreed.
this really is a map in which I feel the difference is not going to be made on the technique of handling these corners, because I don't think there is finesse beyond the level which should really be expected of any SNC participant. It's just going to come down to the individual comfort of the players and how quickly they can set a representative time, whether they're going to like feel in the zone or not, in a sense.
And is this then maybe a little bit of a forgiving map for a specific Time Attack mode? As the players
Yeah,
are maybe a little bit more comfortable here?
yeah, I don't think you need to significantly risk to put in a very decent time. This is especially true for middle of the pack players. I think that yes, if you're competing for top 1 times, you are going to want to risk, but I also think that putting in a decent safety time
Yeah.
is not that difficult. I also think that the closeness of the deadies between players really shows that on this map, Mastery has a slightly lower reward than usual. It is definitely a map with a slightly lower skill floor. But I don't think that makes it a bad map at all. It's a nice forgiving way to get yourself on the board, to set a very good tone for the rest of the night. I feel like a lot of players will want to benefit from that.
Mm-mm. Yeah, very, very interesting indeed as we
And
see
already looking at the times,
Dopa.
yeah, Dopamine
Yeah,
already in a 43.09, which is only less than 2/10 of a second from Daddy One. Panda already with a 43.1 himself. KWS, Truo, Casper with 43.2s. So we already have, I think, 10 players who have set a time better than Daddy 30.
yeah.
After that, though, the fall off is, I think, quite appreciable. I think Devil is still waiting to set a decent time. Racerlight and Stiko are all looking to improve. Aircroll, Blitza, Spider, many players who are yet to set representative times as we get past the 20% mark with 12 minutes remaining.
Already the 3 minutes gone. That's fast, but still
Yep,
plenty of time.
Time flies when you're having fun, and Mew,
Yep,
43.16, already approaching his personal best of a Daddy Free, 43.01.
very
This is
nice.
exactly the player we want to see the most from for Peony Orange. This is definitely his forte. If consistency is his weakness, raw pace is definitely his strength, and he needs to put some good points on the board. Valmara for Storm Chasers or Bros, putting in a 43.36, a name we haven't seen in a while, but a legendary player and a legendary mapper in his own right. I don't think he played in week 1, but
I don't
here
think
with us
so.
in
No.
week 2
Yeah,
and setting in a very good time for himself. Truo continuing his amazing performance from week 1 with a 43.27, definitely worth noting. Goro in the page 1. Mew
nice,
improving again with a 43.14,
strong,
so he's actually consistently dialing in ridiculously fast laps.
very
That
strong.
is two dead top 10
Yeah.
quality laps from Mew.
And if you're a
Amazing to see.
Mu right now, you must think like, all right, my more than decent time is already on the board here. I mean, 43.14. If you compare it to the dailies, it's a top 10 daily, like you said, and this must feel good
Yeah,
for
I
Mu and
find
maybe
it
also for his team.
Yeah, I find it very difficult to believe that a lot of players are going to set a time better than what he has dialed into the board right now. So
Hmm.
he can sort of take it easy, rest assured, knowing that in the first 5 minutes he's already put in a time which Peony Orange will be more than happy with.
Yeah,
And Peony Orange, I think, well, they do have two players currently in the top 8, but now Storm Chasers put Devil with a
Devil,
top 2 time,
nice.
43.10, which is, I think, equal to his personal best
Yeah,
of a Daddy 8 and only 100 of a second behind Dopamine. Kez dials in a 43.16, so now Peony Blue, Panda, Kez, Spider, very respectable free players in the top 8,
very
definitely
strong.
turning the tides against Storm Chasers, who only have Storm in 15th currently,
Yeah,
doing
and
less than expected.
maybe also against Power Rangers because in the top 16 I only still see Dopa. And where is the
Yeah,
rest?
Power Rangers, Stiko so far not in a good time. Blitza with perhaps not the best time. As I say that, Blitza dials in a 43.22, immediately shuts me
Nice.
up. That is a very, very good time. But still, a 1.5 tenth of a second behind his personal best, so maybe still a little bit of pace to be found. Goro dials in a very respectable 43.26. This is very close to his personal best. So as
Very
you can
nice.
see, so many players putting in times which are very close to their personal bests already, which tells me that the level of consistency is very high and players
Yeah,
definitely came ready to play.
yeah.
No nerves can be felt from some of these top players. Kush, KWS, those are some very good times for Team DGF.
Yeah, looking good.
Mirako joining them in 15th, so they are putting in a good result. And Peony Orange need to find a third player to join them. Ekstrom only in 22nd. Job in 27th, that's not terrible, but they need more if they want to contest this. Spider
Sure.
now improving his personal best significantly for a Daddy 9,
Nice.
43.13.
Saying hop in the chat. It's
Literally putting in a personal best in
yeah,
live, which is I think very good. Racerlight joins us with a top 13 time. Raptor now on page 1 as well. So
nice.
Power Rangers, Stiko Raptor joining in the fun. Definitely currently as it stands the strongest team right next to Peony Blue, who have Spider, Panda, Kez, and Aircrow. 4 players in the top 9 doing well for themselves, but now Peony Orange are in a risky position to DGF.
Yeah.
Truo only in 14th and Ekstrom now down to 25th, Job in
Ooh,
29th. They need a player.
Panda coming in hot here. 43.06 takes Dopamine's crown, at least for now, with 8 minutes on the clock still. That's very well done. Peony Blue looking pretty good here for themselves.
But they do need to do it because they are
Yeah,
actually trailing Storm Chasers and Power Rangers by a decently significant deficit. So they
yeah,
need to put in these sorts of performances all night long to restore their position in the top 1 or top 2. Not that they're at risk of being out of Division 1, but if they can secure themselves an easier match in the semi-final,
Yeah.
they will definitely be looking for that. Dolan and Dopa regains the lead
Wow.
with a 42.96. That's a top 3 time, and the first 42 we've seen.
Yeah.
Only 600ths of a second behind personal best, but with the caveat that Dopa mapped this to begin with, so
Yeah.
he does have a bit of an inherent advantage over other players in that, well, he mapped it. But I don't think that it's unrecoverable, and I also think that the amount of PNE players behind him should give him reason to worry. Blitza, the next Power Ranger in 10th place, but Razorlight and Steeko making sure that Power Rangers have a very high floor.
Yeah.
As we're now heading into the second half, so if players have not set representative times yet, this is where I would start being concerned for them.
Yeah, let's see.
Lucky Shot in 20th place.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Decent, but I think he might want to dial in a little bit more. He's capable of it. He has a Daddy 10, 1.5 tenth of a second ahead. Angle maybe wanting to do a little bit more focus, unfortunately not reprising in the top 10.
Yeah.
Focus did amazingly in rounds, but I think that this is where his, he is very consistent. He has elite pace, but maybe not his map, or maybe just having a little bit of a difficult time replicating his personal best. Ekstrom and Job being in 25th and 32nd, I think they can do more, and they should do more because PNE Orange is going to be in a difficult position otherwise. Bellman only in 33rd is not something I expected to see personally.
No, he's dropping down. Let's see who else we see a little bit further back. Maybe Nitro, 38th place. He's looking for a little bit more. Let's see if anything is changing.
Yeah, actually, Storm Chasers are not looking good on this map. Yes, they have Raptor in 9th and Devil in 3rd, but then the next person I believe is Storm in 22nd place, followed by Valmara and Focus. So they're facing the same problem PNE Orange are now, in that their top players have put in amazing times, but the rest of the team not quite there. Ekstrom in particular, I think, can absolutely dial in a top 15 time if he can just make it stick for one lap. Casper needs to be shouted out, 43.21.
Nice.
Well, very good time.
Very good position.
Absolutely something to be proud of, and Goro anchoring him in, but you can already see only 600ths of a second separates top 8 from top, 16?
Yeah.
Only 600ths of a second, that's like one corner. Kez dials in a second place time, only 300ths of a second behind his personal best, so maximizing his pace at the 10-minute mark. That's going to be a huge finish for PNE Blue. Their players came out to play, looking to quickly overhaul whatever deficit they might have had in the intervening weeks. And Lucky Shot sets that time on the board, 43.19, top 8. Very well done.
Very, very good. I think Mu, very interesting, still holding on to that 43.14 that he set pretty early. Still earns him a top 6 now. Very nice.
That's an elite time, but the problem is that True has been caught up to by the rest of the field, and Ekstrom and Job have not sent time, so actually PNE Orange might still end up losing to FKX Platinum because Casper and Lucky Shot have set some amazing times. And Goro is also anchoring them in, Yuki in 18th place, so the entirety of FKX Platinum flexing their raw pace. This is something that they have. That roster has an incredible amount of raw pace, but their consistency is their weakness. But here in Time Attack, no consistency to worry about, and they've all managed to set very good times very quickly. So FKX Platinum might actually be pinching PNE Orange for that 4th place and might make a surprise appearance in Division 1. So this is very bad for PNE Orange.
Yeah, it's not looking good.
They're not looking good on map number 1 at all. Power Rangers have stabilized, so Dopamine is definitely carrying them. Blitzer the next driver in 12th place, but then they have Razorlight 14th, Steeko 15th, and Reagan Hertz in 20th. So in any case, they will get a good haul of points. Ekstrom now sets a 20th place time, but the problem is that Goro and Yuki, the bottom players of FKX Platinum, are still competitive with True and Ekstrom, while Lucky Shot and Casper have marched forward, and Job not able to set a better time than a 43.4. Book still in 27th as well, not his day. Storm in 25th.
And time is ticking, only 3 more minutes. So if you're lucky, that's 2, 3, maybe 4 laps, but then you have to
And I think
drive
it is
Miracle.
it is fascinating to note that the difference between number 1 and number 4 is the same as difference between number 4 and number 16.
That is very interesting as well. Yeah. Wow.
So 43.2, like a daily 20 time, is definitely the marker of an elite time on this map. It would seem
Easy.
that way. True makes a 100th of a second improvement, so he's trying his hardest, but unfortunately is not able to meaningfully overhaul the members of FKX Platinum, which is going to cost PNE Orange a little bit in their head-to-head duel. Also, DGF, they have fallen behind right now, so KWS in 17.
No,
Kush anchors them
Valmara
into the
actually.
7, but
Yeah. Kush,
okay,
but
Valmara.
Valmara in top 8 here, I think, set a very good time and putting some
Yeah, now
points on the
Storm
board for
Chasers
Storm
and
Chasers.
Focus makes it the 13th place, so Storm
Very
Chasers have
nice.
overhauled it.
Yeah.
And now also the advantage that PNE Blue would have opened to Storm Chasers is definitely going to be reduced a little bit, but
Yep.
still, PNE Blue with second, third, fifth, and 14th as it stands,
Hmm.
they're still going to overhaul Storm Chasers here, but the difference is definitely going to be reduced thanks to these late times.
Yeah, interesting with 1.5 minutes on the board, so Storm Chasers pretty
And
late.
focus setting an elite time is what they needed.
Yeah.
Focus set the time, which is only 200ths of a second away from his personal best. This is clutch at its finest, and
Yeah,
he's
that's
definitely
good.
stepped up as a clutch player. This needs to be said.
Yeah.
Delivering to the peak of his performance, even if that peak is maybe a little bit lower than some of the very best players. He's 90% of the way there, but he's delivering 100% of the time, and
Hmm.
that's exactly the kind of player Storm Chasers need.
Very nice. Let's see if somebody else is on an elite time, maybe.
Job
Yeah.
improves to a 25th, but I can't help but shake the feeling that it's actually FKX Platinum who are significantly winning the head-to-head here.
PNE Orange, it's, yeah, compared to FKX Platinum, looks like a disaster. We got Mu in 6th, which is very nice. But then we have True in 19th and Ekstrom in 22nd.
Engel unable to do better than 33rd, Vamos Dekar in 39th, Andrew in 43rd. I think team, I believe their name is Cowboys or something, SNC, but with
Space
Cowboys.
NASCAR Cowboys, yeah.
Space NASCAR Cowboys,
Yeah.
they might actually be on a significant losing streak. Their players not putting up times that I think they are definitely capable of. I think a lot of players that are on the same level
Yeah.
not doing very well. Nez
Reagan hurts as
only
well.
40th and Nico only 38th. That's
Too
maybe
far
a bit
out.
worse than they would have normally set in rounds.
Yeah.
And we're done here.
Yeah, it's
Nothing
done.
more to be said, and the top 16 stays pretty flat.
I
Reagan
find
hurts
it,
with a late 10th place.
Yeah, Reagan hurts sniping that in the end. I think last 2 or 3 minutes. Actually, the second player for Power Rangers, which is very interesting. After Dope, of course, first place 42.96.
It is something she's capable of, in my humble opinion, at least.
Yeah.
But yeah, even though the map felt a little bit simpler than maybe some of the maps and maybe easier to set a representative time, I want you to just take a look from 8th place, 43.17, to 22nd, it's 1/10 of a second.
That's
From
crazy.
8th to 22nd, that's 1/10 of a second, but points there are going to be separated.
That's crazy. That is super
and
close.
then the elite 5, Kush, Mew, Spider, Devil, Panda, Kez, and Dopamine. Yeah, just a cut above, and PNE Blue will be happy with that, but PNE Orange will not be very happy with that.
No.
I think they did well. It's just that FKX Platinum did better.
Yeah, they did very well, FKX Platinum. Very, very
FKX
nice.
Platinum maybe moving into 4th place at the end of it all. I think that is going to be a fascinating shakeup.
Yeah.
Because then they get themselves into the cash prize scoring positions.
Yeah,
make a huge upset relative to what the expectations might have been.
Let's keep a very close eye on that one. That will be a very interesting battle for the rest of the evening. So map number 1 done. And yeah, little break here for the players just to rest. Then on to map number 2. We will of course do 4 maps again
and I think,
tonight.
More importantly, I think very few players actually delivered a time that is disappointing.
That's true, yeah.
I think they got it in on the board, which means that their nerfs should definitely be reduced for map number 2.
Yeah.
This is nice, if you start them off with a brutal map, and if you deliver a bad time, things just end up spiraling for you. It's very difficult to get back into a time attack game when you've lost your flow.
Yeah.
But Mew setting a time early is crucial for PN Orange. And next map, they might be looking to overhaul it because Truo himself is the mapper on this flat map Amethyst.
A very interesting flat map this, I think. I played it myself a bit. I was confused in the beginning. Now, of course, the
And I
players
think-
have trained this, so that's not a problem, but still, it's interesting.
More importantly, this map, much bigger spread on the Daddies this time, and I think flat map mastery
Yeah.
might actually be a very deciding factor for this one.
Yeah, almost a second between first and 30th daily there. That's,
I'm actually just going to drive a lap to sort of like remind myself of the state of the map, just to kind of get a feeling for the curves again.
Yeah.
Because I think this flat map really, if the first map was relatively simple in the sense that you knew what to do,
Mhm.
and you did not have to risk significantly to get a representative time on the board, I think this map is a complete inversion from that. On this map, you will be risking significantly in order to set a good time, and I also think that risking heavily to set a good one may be a strategy that pays off for a number of players. I think with the very interesting transitional elements between these like flat corners,
Yeah.
these little transitions, it might just be enough to mess with the flow of certain players, and also the very interesting, almost like Suzuka, the initial S section
Hmm.
that happens midway through the map. That might be definitely a flow ruiner.
And what
But
do
I
you
think,
think
yeah,
of the end there? Maybe can ruin some top times there? Tricky end or?
I certainly doubt it. I think that if you make it to the end, you will finish. But I think that
Alright.
throughout the entirety of the map, you continuously have to risk in a
Yeah.
very significant way.
Yeah.
And if that does happen, you have maybe a very unfortunate situation for yourself, because this is a map that has a pretty long lap, 45 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time as having a pretty long lap, you need to risk a lot. And I feel like this might be the one where certain players end up under-delivering very significantly.
Yeah. All right. So
Because you see the difference from the top players, like even between Daddy 1 and 5, there's 0.2 of a second.
yeah,
So
that's
the
true.
amount of mastery at the top end for this particular map is absolutely insane.
Yeah, so a lot different than the first map, of course, that we saw. It was a little bit more easy. This maybe a bit more
Yeah, I
risking.
don't think the ending will be a significant problem. It's just that if you forget it's there, maybe, but that would be
Yeah.
a pretty big mistake to begin with.
Yeah, that's true.
I think that maybe one thing to keep in mind, which is interesting, is that the ending, you might want to do some shenanigans with taking the ending a little bit differently on a failed lap in order to preserve more speed into the next one. I think this map also, the entry speed into a lap is something that really dictates your peak pace. And I think players who try to do some sort of risky strats where they kind of bank the previous lap and try to put a lot of speed into the next one and try to safely carry it through without crashing out, that might lead to some very big rewards over a whole lap.
Ah,
Because this
that's
map,
interesting point.
to me, really is about maintaining speed, but you do have to risk a lot in order to do it. So the polar antithesis of map number 1.
All right. Very, very interesting to see how it will develop as the players are.
And yeah,
of
as
course, on the way.
dopamine goes here, the Suzuka S section, that is also a place where you can lose a lot of speed if you misjudge the timing of the corner entry. I guess we'll see how much players risk at this ending, because
Yeah.
I don't think they'll crash, but there might be something in it. So let's see, dopamine, yeah, dopamine, I think that might have been an immediate wall touch. And as you can see, right, you carry in a lot of speed.
Mm.
If you misjudge the timing, you just lose your lap. Racerlight loses his lap as well, so this is going to be hard to put together a competitive lap, and I also think safe laps are going to be much different to push laps on this particular one.
Yeah.
A
Yeah,
lot,
very, very
a
interesting.
lot bigger spread expected, I think, in the
Yeah.
top places.
And maybe then some surprises as well. Who knows? Maybe if it's more bit of a
Yeah, I
risk
think again,
game.
FKX Platinum could deliver a shock result, because I think that all of those players have exceptional flat prowess.
Yeah.
And PNE Orange might find themselves in a very bad position if their players can't get activated early into this one. Okay, so
Interesting.
the first very good time I would say is Casper, who dialed in a first 44.
Yeah.
And 44 is already Daddy 20-ish material.
Yeah.
The rest of the players on the edge of the Daddy 30, so Storm and Aircrow matching the Daddy 30 exactly. The rest of the players, as you can see, nowhere close, so huge spread already. this map is going to be the make or break, and I
Yeah.
think players should really focus on banking a safe time,
Yeah.
then pushing, because
Yeah.
you will get stuck. And you can also make a mistake where if you make a mistake late on in a lap that is inconsequential, you ruin 2 laps, and it's a 45-second lap at the very fastest. You might be in time trouble on this map if you don't conserve your time smartly.
Yeah.
Okay, so Racerlight puts in
Racerlight.
only a 45-0, so yes, that is half a second away from Daddy 1, but as you can see, the peak pace and the actual pace are very different. Kez
Asto
takes
now.
top 1.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
Kez
Panda
taking top
behind.
1 in a 44-7. That's a top 10 Daddy time, and Panda also, I think, a top 10 Daddy time. So Peony Blue continuing strength, Aircrawl in 8th, but he needs to improve that time if he wants to stay there. So, if Spider and Aircrawl can set a very good time, then Peony Blue might be looking like the winners of the day so far in terms of overall pace.
Looking super good for them, as we see lots of players losing good laps.
Yeah, I think a lot of
throughout,
laps are being lost, and the
yeah.
problem is that if you continue doing this for a couple of more minutes, you might find yourself in a position where the pressure is rising on you to deliver a good lap, but
Yeah.
the map just isn't working out for you, and you can't dial it in.
Yeah.
Focus now with a 44.9. I think that'll
Yes.
be more than enough in terms of a safe lap. I think any player that banks a 44 has the safe lap, but then they will try risking and pushing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The gain is simply too big to ignore.
Alright, so good stuff from Focus. Maybe a little bit more early than last map, so that's good for him.
Yeah, but Dopamine Devil still not setting, I think, representative time, which is fascinating.
Dopa also
Because,
not on a lap right now.
Yeah, so this one, I think this one is going to aggravate a lot of players. I don't think it's necessarily because the map is difficult, it's just you have to risk, and risking is inherently dangerous, as Casper just took so much speed into the start, but he cannot maintain it through the first couple of corners, and that lap is a write-off completely.
And then also...
And you can see players are risking, yeah?
Yeah, and maybe what you mentioned before as well is that it really gets to be a mental game, because right now, 5 minutes almost already are lost. Some players who did not set a safe time yet, they will begin to wonder when is it going to happen, and it can't take too long maybe.
And you know what the irony is? FKX Platinum actually set 45.2s on at least, or better, on 3 players.
Yeah.
The irony is that even though these times do not appear spectacular, they, I think, will actually be very good. Dopamine dials in a Daddy free time. Daddy free time.
There we go. One that we had been waiting for, Dopa, with a 44.55 on the board. That is...
But if this was ever a map for somebody like Dopamine to do, it would be, because this map is absolute precision at its finest. If you miss a timing, you're done. If there is any player that is strong at doing this consistently, then Dopamine would have to be him. Very surprised not to see Devil for Storm Chasers set a good time yet. I think he needs to kind of start hurrying it up.
Yep.
Put in a 44, put in a 45 high, 45 low, then push forward. Because Storm Chasers need more players on the top if they're going to defend themselves against Peony Blue.
Also, who I'm still missing, Mew with a 46.0, Spider with a 46.6.
Yeah, and this is a map where Mew... This is a map where Mew might be tempted to risk significantly without setting a safe time. He needs to put in a safe time. Kez, by the way, improving to a 44.62, which is just behind Daddy Free.
Nice improvement.
And only 1/10 of a second behind his personal best, so I think that is already very close to peak time. And I think that's going to keep him in the podium positions. I don't think anybody else is going to seriously catch up to the times that Dopamine and Plasterex have set, or Kez, I should say.
Yeah. I
guess we'll see.
It looks very strong from them. KW
Storm Chasers need a third player. Storm Chasers need a third player, and Devil is usually the one to do that for them, which is why I'm really looking at him.
Yeah.
Valmara and Raptor are doing quite well for them, though. That needs to be said. Problem is that Job and Mew and Ekstrom are all nowhere to be found. Peony Orange are in a bad position.
Yeah, again, Carnage.
But Shuro improves. Shuro improves to a 44.86. That's a personal best in a Daddy 15. That time is going to be massive for Peony Orange, but now Mew needs to deliver a time like that, because Mew has a personal best Daddy 4 on this map, 44.6. Flat map specialist, that is well known. This is where his team needs him, because FKX Platinum have 3 players in the top 15. Peony Orange have 1 player in the top 15, and the others are nowhere.
So again, nice pressure, I think, from FKX Platinum early in this time attack mode on this map. They say, all right, we have 3 players, top 16, Peony Orange. Show it to us.
Kush. Oh my god, Kush.
Wow.
Matches
Equals
Dopamine
Dopa.
personal best and a Daddy free. 22 hundredths of a second faster than his previous personal best. He sent it.
And
That's a lap
KWS
he'll be proud of.
is also there in the top 8. And Spider now with a 44.78. So we see some better times popping in now.
Also Spider, Daddy 10 personal best. And now look at this. Peony Blue are going to put a huge dent into Storm Chasers if something doesn't change. But also DGF and FKX Platinum are going to mince Peony Orange. This is not working out for these teams at all right now.
This is
Power Rangers themselves are actually going to get overhauled by Peony Blue as well because of the consistency of their members. Because Racerlight, Blitz, and Reagan Hertz have all dialed in like a 45.0, 45.1.
Racerlight just now improving to a 44.97.
But not ahead of the Peony Blue players. This is curious because the Peony Blue players have all put in a 44.6 to 44.8. Racerlight loses a lap here, which might have been quite decent. Mew sets a 45.1. That's going to be a relief, but I don't think it's enough.
No.
FKX Platinum have 3 players with 45.0 or better in the top 12. Job extra, they need to catch up fast, and Mew needs to now risk it. He has a safe lap, you have some points. Now's the time to open up the pace that you know that you're capable of.
Let's do it here now. Let's see if he's on the lap.
Yeah, Mew still has half a second of potential pace in hand, so he needs to unlock at least two tenths of that, in my opinion. Racerlight, unfortunately, in the finish, he does lose his next lap. He doesn't carry over enough pace into the lap to really contend, so Power Rangers might be in a bit of a stuck position with Dopamine really anchoring them in.
Yeah.
Storm now improving for Storm Chasers, but Focus has kind of been relegated from that top group, and Devil. Still, I don't see him.
No, me neither. He's not there.
He's 35th with a 45.7. That is not going out well for him.
Wow.
He has an improvement in hand though. He's on an improving lap, looking towards the finish line. I think Devil might have dialed in the lap he needs.
Ooh, he makes it. Does he?
Yeah, that'll easily be good enough.
There we go. Oof.
Yeah, with Focus, that's going to be enough to sort of save them in, but they will still be losing points to Peony Blue. They just do not have the sustained pace necessary.
And look at Goro down in a 45 flat.
And True, huge.
Nice.
4th place.
Ooh,
Improves
nice
his personal best to take Spider's Daddy 10.
That's important for Orange.
But it's not enough. His improvement is actually very marginal. Panda now, 44.60, improves his personal best by 100 of a second and moves into 3rd place, dethroning Kez from the podium. But the problem is that these things, they're very big improvements, but they're not actually moving up in terms of positions.
Oh, that's true.
Mew setting only a 0.2 of a second better time would be much bigger for Peony Orange than what Chuo has done here.
Yeah.
Ekstrom as well, not putting in the pace that he's known for in hand. This is going to be a big loss for Peony Orange if they don't do something about it right now. FKX Platinum, 3 players in the top 13.
Yeah, only 5 minutes left for them. FKX Platinum is looking strong.
And Peony Blue might deal a significant blow to Power Rangers as well, because only Dopamine is anchoring them, but now Reagan Hertz is sliding out of the top 10 into 14th place and Steiko in 16th. These are still good positions.
Yeah, Racerlight improved, I think, a bit. 44.8, not.
But he was already in 10th place. It's not going to gain them a significant amount of points. We are headed into the final 5 minutes, so this is where things start to kind of eat into you. If Mew hasn't set better than a 45.1 at this point, he might actually start to run into a mental block.
And look at Goro, 44.7 for a top 7 time. FKX Platinum.
Peony Orange are in trouble. Truo is basically not going to gain any significant points because the rest of FKX Platinum is dialing it in, but Peony Orange are nowhere.
Oh, nowhere to be seen.
Mew starts a lap. He needs to improve now. It's no longer negotiable, but he drops the lap immediately.
Oh, and Ekstrom as well with a crash. Ay.
They're actually not going to keep their 4th place in the overall standings. They will get demoted from Division 1 as it stands by FKX Platinum, who have shown up to play. And this is where they're going to hate the fact that they didn't build a bigger advantage in rounds, because that's exactly where a team with slightly bigger pedigree with players like Ekstrom and Mew, you would think they would separate themselves. In Endurance, I think it might actually be a crapshoot between them and FKX Platinum.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Peony Orange this might be the place where they actually lose out on their Division 1 position.
Yeah, and maybe specifically, at least up until
And
this point,
DGF,
this
look at
map.
this. DGF, second, 12th, and 15th.
Wow.
So both teams that PNE Orange are directly competing against are putting in ridiculous times.
Very, very interesting. With only 3 more minutes to go.
Yeah, they're actually in a very bad position here.
Wow.
Very bad.
Where is Mu? Is he on the lap?
Dopamine secures
Dopa
the first
improving.
place. He
Yeah.
improves only by 100 of a second, but it moves him into undisputed first
Mu
place.
is running now. Let's see if we can keep it up here.
We need a lap out of
No,
him.
he
Needs
can't.
he needs to find those 2 to 3 tenths of a second that he's perfectly capable of, or this is going to be a big loss.
Yeah.
Because Ekstrom and Job are just nowhere. Aircrawl surprisingly has not improved since his initial safe lap, but 24th is still enough. And more importantly, PNE Blue have they have Spider, Kez, and
Yeah, they have 3
Panda
members
too.
already. Yeah.
Yeah, they have it to anchor them in, but they would have kind of hoped that Aircrawl would be there with them. But it's fine. He has a safe lap. Okay, Mew's on a good one here. He risks, but the risk is currently being rewarded. So far, so good. But he had to release there. I don't think he has the pace he needs right now.
Let's see.
Because like the small mistakes add up, and he had to release several tenths of a second throughout this lap.
Yeah.
It's not going to be good enough, and he
No,
touches the wall.
No.
It's not good enough.
Where's Ekstrom? Let's see Ekstrom here.
I don't think he's on a significant lap.
No. Time is ticking.
But actually, Power Rangers are also unironically not looking very good. They have Racer Light in 9th, Regenhertz in 15th, and then Stako Blitz in 17th and 18th. And Stako just improves to 12th, so
Alright.
that'll be big for them because PNE Blue are actually, with 3rd, 4th, and 6th, they're going to be in for a big haul of points, and something needs to be done to fix that. Only 1 minute remaining. This basically means that people are starting their final laps or finishing sometimes. Yeah. Because remember, if you have a bad finish, you can't put a representative lap time on the board. You need to carry speed for the start-finish line, and I think Ekstrom is just done. Ekstrom is just done, and he's only going to set 26th. This is not good.
That's not good for PNE. Focus
drifts. But Mew might be on the lap. This might be what they need. Mew. You can just get it past the finish line. What's it gonna be? That's big.
There we go. Mew top 8. Oh, last 30 seconds. That is crazy.
That is the saving grace they needed.
Wow. That is absolutely.
That's the saving grace they needed.
What a clutch. That's crazy.
Mew clutching up is such a redemption moment for him after that week 1. But the problem is that it might not be enough.
Ooh, did Goro? No, he did not improve. No, just not. Alright.
Aircrawl in 25th is going to slightly spoil PNE Blue's ideal 4th-place party, but I think that his safe lap was already decent enough. Unfortunately, it's behind the Power Rangers people, which is...
And I think
Power Rangers are going to take
PNE Blue, right?
PNE Blue and DGF.
Super.
I think DGF are winning. Storm Chasers, 9th, 10th, and 12th. They're gonna lose points to PNE Blue here.
Yeah, but the damage in the end, I think
they contained it pretty well, in my opinion. 9th, 10th, and 12th is going to save them a lot of grief later.
I think so as well. Wow, very, very interesting map. Exactly what you said, because if we look at the differences here as well, first for Dopa 44.54, and then Casper in 16th 44.99. That difference is already way more significant than what we saw in last map.
Yeah, there's a significant difference, and actually almost everywhere around the board the differences were actually being pretty significant. The players get a bigger break now. Maybe 4 to 5 minutes to reset themselves before the next map, Riddles and Binary by Willy Gamer.
That map will also be very interesting.
But I think that the level we're seeing is high, but more importantly, the considerations for the points positions are... This is fascinating.
Yeah, that will be very interesting.
Yeah, the considerations for the points are going to be huge now, because the way that DGF, FKX Platinum, and PNE Orange are colliding, they might actually be separated by nothing. And probably one of the 2 teams is going to take over 4th place from PNE Orange, which is a shocking upset.
That's crazy. Just what one mode can do is very interesting to see. It can turn players around, and also can pop some players up that we maybe
But
did
this
not
is
expect.
it's the saving grace of Peony Orange that Muse at this time, because this means
Yeah.
that he performed very well for 2 maps in a row. They need it.
Yeah,
They
because
genuinely need it.
where did he come from? He came from out of top 22, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, so
It was
that's going to
huge.
be a big amount of points, especially because of what FKX Platinum have actually done. So on aggregate, what's happened is that the points come out in a very strange way for most teams. It's hard to tell who's actually the big winner and the big loser. The only thing that I can say with certainty is that Peony Blue should probably have the strongest performance of the day so far.
Hmm.
Panda, Kez, and
Yeah.
Fighter have absolutely held down the fort.
Yeah.
Aircrawl, a little bit further away, but he's still putting on some very good times, in my opinion.
Yeah, they are looking super strong.
If it wasn't for Dopamine is the thing keeping Power Rangers in.
Yeah, I expected maybe a little bit more from them up until this point, but who knows? Maybe it can.
I think a
still
player like
turn, but
Racer, like Seiko, yeah, you would kind of expect
Yeah.
him to be in the elite in terms of pace, but
top 8 maybe.
then again, also Devil for Storm Chasers, you wouldn't have expected Focus and Storm of all people to be ahead of him, but
That's true.
because of the nature of the map, I think Devil got off to a little bit of a finicky start, and then it's hard to get back in the groove.
Hmm. Yeah, that's true.
That's
That will be interesting.
I think some people are just going to be like wiping the sweat from their brow
Yeah, I guess
at
so.
the end
That's
of this
why.
map,
Yeah,
because those were some last minute saves.
yeah, that's
Those were some last minute saves that could have had significant impact on the points positions.
good that we have maybe a little bit longer break here. Players can take it easy.
I should actually get something to drink. Like,
Yeah.
I'm here sweating on behalf of the players when they set the time 15 seconds.
Holy shit. Yeah,
15
we are just
seconds.
observing.
I mean,
Great.
it's actually been, the level has been spectacular so far. I want to point that out.
Hmm.
The level has been spectacular so far, especially from the top players. We have seen times which are very close to the theoretical optimum on a lot of the maps.
Yeah.
And on map 1, I also think it was very close.
Yeah. Very true. It's really, really good to see. Also, I think the map pack enables that as well. We got some different stuff into the mix, and it pushes
Yeah.
the competition upwards.
Yeah, I'll just go grab a glass of water in the last half a minute before we swap over to map 3 of the evening.
Yeah,
which
don't
is in
forget to
Binary Drive.
hydrate. Yeah,
Exactly.
very good. Very good. I'll do some hydration as well. Thanks, Ole. Spider Raid. Yo, vamos. Good stuff, guys. Very, very nice first 2 maps. As we are almost on to the next one after this a little bit longer break. And don't forget, guys, indeed, we will do the giveaway again after the end of the stream. You can win a fully customized SNC 2024 whiskey glass. And we'll, of course, do some interviews again as well, so do not go anywhere. Next map is a bit of a lottery. Yeah, this next map by Willy Gamer. I think the double wall ride. I think some very interesting stuff that we see on this map. Let's see how the players will tackle it here. Will be
Okay.
very interesting to see. Welcome back.
I've returned.
Yeah.
So, yeah, here we are. Map number 3, Riddles and Binary by Willy Boy. Willy Gamer, that is. And I think something worth pointing out is that if you've ever played an SNC map by Willy, this map is actually going to be incredibly familiar.
Yeah.
I think something that is maybe underrated is just how close this is to his standard mapping style. But this also means that the map naturally actually has a pretty high variance. I feel like most of his maps do. I think if you play through it, again, the curves are pretty obvious, but you will be tempted to take them in a way which involves significant risk. And I also think that some of these elements, like the double wall ride, when taken at super high speeds from people attempting to set push laps, are virtually a lottery. I think that the map itself might play a role here, and I also think some of the transitions might be difficult for players to control while on push laps. I think we're seeing a reprisal of map 2, except this time it's not a flat map, it's a technical banked map.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think, again, the difference between safe and a push lap is going to be significant, and players are, again, going to want to dial in a decent lap time and then start pushing. But it might take them a while to do it. And again, 45-second laps,
Yeah.
then the double wall ride, and then you have to respawn. It takes a long time.
Yeah.
I feel like we might see a bloodbath, just like on map 2.
Yeah, map 2 all over again maybe on this map. It'll be very interesting to see some last second pushes.
But a double wall ride, it's a very thin wall ride. That needs to be said. I feel like this is the element. Not necessarily that the players don't know how to drive, quite the contrary, but it's an element that can make or break a very fast lap, because controlling like the mobility of your car on a wall ride is not something you are expected to do on a regular basis. So for the players, some confusion might be in order. And I also feel like you suffer from the same problem you did on the last map, where you have to carry over speed from the previous lap into the next. So if you make a mistake at the ending, you might have 2 laps gone. That's a minute and a half or more, and you only have 15 to set your time.
And is it the same on this map, what you said on the last one, that it was maybe a bit harder to gain speed on this map? You really need to keep it?
In a way, but it's slightly less pronounced.
Okay. That will be interesting to observe as the players are off 15 minutes again. Some questions in the chat. Is it time attack for every map? Yes. Today it is. We do 3 weekends of the qualifying rounds of the SNC 2024. Last week we had rounds. Today we do time attack, and next weekend is the endurance format. So everyone.
Yeah, I think that wall ride. You take the wall ride out, and thankfully there is enough space for you to take the corner comfortably. But taking that 270, you really need to take it optimally. You have to keep all of your speed through it. And then there's like a narrow finishing to that 270, which might catch some players off guard if they're banking a lot of speed. Very, 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 lots of finesse required.
Lots of finesse. We'll see that hopefully out of the top players. Dopa here, first player that we are going to spectate. Of course, are going to keep an eye on for a long time. See what
the Daddies are surprisingly close, but I feel like, again, the top players are actually putting up significant differences on this map compared to people who are just driving well, but relatively safely. I think going balls to the wall might be risky. Dopamine is on the Daddy 1 lap.
Yeah, what is he doing? Even with 0.14, can he finish this?
This can't be real. Is he actually gonna finish this?
He's gonna finish it already. Just stop it already. God. Holy shit!
Goodbye.
He will
just
stop driving.
Just go AFK.
That's crazy.
It's over.
Top 1 in the second lap, 44.23. Oh no! And what is this going to do with the competition here?
Go AFK with 13 or 15 minutes remaining.
Oh.
Like, players are actually stopping their laps to congratulate him. That's how insane that was. Oh my god.
Oh, rarely seen anything like this. Rarely seen
magic on your screens, ladies and gentlemen. Magic.
Holy.
The flick of the wrist. Holy hell.
That is.
But before we lose track of that, Casper actually set up 44.60. Yeah. That is close to his personal best and easily a top 12 Daddy time.
Good time.
But Mew set up 44.58. Wow. That's important.
There we go.
That's
very
super
important to anchor already for Peony Orange, not after.
And Power Rangers, Power Rangers already dialing in their 45 zeros, which I think is going to be the safe time for this.
Yeah.
So around Daddy 30. 45-0 is going to be the safe lap, and then you want to go faster if you can.
Yeah.
And I think, based on raw pace, PNE might make some magic happen again, because their consistency has been there, for PNE Blue at least. And their raw pace has actually also been insane. Mew putting in that time is important, but the problem is that, look at this already. Yuki 44.9, Casper 44.6. So now Churro has to actually dial in a very good time if he wants to do that. And Churro's personal best is a 44.7. So he actually needs to perform near his personal best to save his team from FKX Platinum. Which is crazy because PNE Orange are already at a deficit compared to them from the first 2 maps.
Yeah, and it's again FKX Platinum with Casper and Yuki there in the top 6 now.
Storm Chasers are going to have a good one here. Storm and Devil are already on 44.8 and Focus is on a 45.0. These, I think, are going to be perfectly good save times. Like, don't get me wrong. Because Dopamine put in that absurd lap that broke the record completely, doesn't mean that the rest of the players are beholden to the same standard. And like 44.6 is already very, very good. Might not even
There we go,
really...
Mew. Look at Mew. Wow.
That's 1/10 away from his personal best. That's daily 5. That's a huge lap.
That is fire from him.
He's
Very
actually
important.
been clutching up all day long.
Racealite now as well, 44.52 as well.
And that's very close to his
PB.
personal best.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very nice. Alright, some good stuff.
But the problem is that Mew is putting in the performance of a lifetime, but it doesn't matter.
No.
Casper, Lucky Shot, Yuki, look at this. FKX winning significantly in depth.
Yeah. A Lucky Shot now joining as well, indeed. Yuki there, looking very, very strong again.
But you know what the funny thing is? PNE Blue are actually waiting for some decent times to be set. 5 minutes in, and I feel like the only person... Yeah, now Panda joins the top with a 44.45. But it's actually only Panda and Kez, and they aren't strictly beating the people in the top. Truo sets the time. That's big. 44.73. That is 200ths of a second away from personal best.
That's really good for PNE Orange. Where's Job? Job in 21st place with a 45.38.
He's going to need to do faster than that.
Yeah.
The problem is that the safe time is around a 45.0. That's not going to be enough.
No, not yet, but still 10 minutes. I think it's interesting to see that maybe some of the top players have already put in a nice time. Where on the last
Cushion a 44.6, so now PNE Orange has the problem that their carry players, they are slightly, marginally better at their peak than the competitive players, but DGF and FKX Platinum are actually beating them in depth.
Yeah. Very
and it's actually Ekstrom and Job are not doing the same job currently as somebody like Yuki or somebody like KWS maybe.
Yeah.
Which is not something that you would have maybe expected to hear, especially for a name like Ekstrom from VR and formerly the star of that team along with Guns. But not making it stick in time attack so far. Maybe due to a lack of training, maybe for any other reason, but
yeah, who knows?
He needs to do more.
Not yet. Maybe has some time left. Let's see who else we are maybe waiting for. We see Focus in 20th position here for Storm Chasers. Spider, 31st place. We'll try to push his way up there, I guess.
Yeah, Power Rangers are currently winning very significantly, and Aircrawl now sets a 45-0. But the problem is that that's only going to be good enough for a safe time. He actually needs to go faster if he wants to set something big. Devil, huge time.
Wow, very, very strong. 44.45, improving his own PB with 0.04. That is very well done by Devil. Good stuff for Storm Chasers on the leaderboard there. But I feel like they need... Valmara. There you go. Into the top 16. 44.9, just as we were talking about it. So important for them. Ekstrom now into the top 16 as well. He came from very, very far, I think.
44.8. That's going to be a necessary time because now that dethrones Yuki and now PNE Orange have 3 people in top positions.
That
and
looks
they need
way
that.
better. Good stuff. Good stuff for them. Still FKX Platinum looking good. Truo improving. Oh, that's only a minor improvement, but still.
It is an improvement, and it's an improvement that is probably going to take him 1 position ahead of, or put him level with Lucky Shot, whereas he might have been behind before, so pretty important for them. But you know what the fascinating thing is? Because of the way the positions have arranged themselves right now, it's basically a crapshoot between the top 4 teams. None of them are going to take a significant advantage over one another, because now Spider isn't up there with the rest of PNE Blue, and Kez is actually in 8th place, where Power Rangers and Storm Chasers have players above.
But now it's really scrambled, I feel like. That's crazy.
Yeah, the points seem to me like they're almost equal between like the top 5 teams, which is a fascinating thing.
Yeah, that's crazy. Everyone is scattered throughout the top 16, it feels like. So...
And now, you know, Regenhertz put in a decent time. I think Engel and Nino with a 45-0, that's going to be good enough for their respective teams. Vamos Dikar 45-1, that's going to be good enough. Dolan maybe below expectations, 45.3, but he still has 6.5 minutes to finish it.
Yeah.
Raptor in 54th. What is happening? Goro in 57th. What the hell is happening there?
Yeah, especially also Goro performed very well last map as well. Let's see if we can put a very nice time on the board here. 6 minutes to go.
And time is going to start playing a role in this because this,
Yeah.
again, we mentioned, just because, listen, Dopamine's record, oh, that's a time for Chuo.
Oh, nice
Another
one.
personal best in live rounds. He's
Wow.
done this twice this evening.
That is
Continuing
very
a
impressive.
huge clutch performance from rounds, and more importantly, now Mew and Chuo are ahead of all FKX Platinum members, and Ekstrom is competitive. This is finally the map where they can sort of overhaul their disadvantage.
Tico putting it on the board there. 5th position, and all of a sudden Power
Yeah,
Rangers
now,
look
Power
really
Rangers
strong.
are ahead of Peony Blue.
Yeah.
They are ahead of Peony Blue as it stands because Spider is only 14th.
Yeah.
And Kez is actually only 10th. Only. These are all very good times.
Yeah.
Let me make that abundantly clear. But the problem is that people have actually approached the topmost times. They're sitting top 10 Daddy times in live.
It's
Which is
crazy.
insane.
Ah, that's insane. Really high
Like
level.
you tend to forget because on lap 2 we saw Dopa beat the world record, but do not let this distract you from the fact that this map is incredibly challenging to get into. And the fact that so many players set very good times very early is a sign of their high skill, their high focus, and not just getting lucky or anything of the sort. I think everybody is just going balls to the wall for their respective teams right here. Valmara improving, Storm Chasers have a strong
Nice.
delegation in the top right now.
Yeah, that's good for them. Looks pretty strong. DGF maybe missing.
Yeah, but now Goro has joined
Goro.
the top. He sets
There we go.
the 9th place time, and suddenly the situation's still fine for Peony Orange, but they need Job to actually approach. But he's only in 34th place as it stands. And indeed, we're kind of seeing that 45-0 is the safe mark, so that's gonna get you like a 23rd place, good, but nothing special. And Aircrawl's kind of been stuck to that mark.
And
He's-
Truo is on the lap here. Oh, he just has to release. It's too bad.
Yeah, the amount of risk involved with setting these top times makes me so surprised that we saw as many top times as we did.
Yeah.
Because you really have to leave nothing to question in order to secure a time like that. Mew has been going balls to the wall. He actually had some times which could be comparable to Dopa's old that he won.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
yeah, not sticking. But look at this. Now 44-40. That's going to be 2nd place unless something changes.
Yeah, very, very nice. It's really good that he dialed in pretty early as well.
Kez is back in the top 5. 44-46.
Nice little push from him there. That's also important for Peony Blue. Now looking actually pretty strong. Just Spider in 16th there. Who else are we missing?
Spider and Aircrawl are currently sort of. They are definitely down compared to Power Rangers. And this is not gonna work out well for them. Even Reagan Hurts, the on paper weakest member of Power Rangers is in 20th place with an incredibly respectable 44.9. I think DGF also had some good points on the board, but Peony Orange will beat them on this map because of the heroics of Chuo and Mew.
Yeah.
And also a very good time from Ekstrom, it needs to be said. Finally, the kind of time we're expecting, because we see a lot of invalid times on the server. These players will have to reconnect.
Yeah, that's happening
Maybe,
to a lot of people, yeah.
yeah, it's to be expected. Server with 70 people, but the problem is that these players have to reconnect. We're running out of time.
Yeah, only 2.
We're running out of time,
minutes.
and we are going to be in a bad position. Focus still on a 45-0. Blitz is still on a 45.1. These players, I think, expect a little bit more from themselves. Vamos the car with a 45.0 in 23rd place. That's a damn good time.
That's really
Raptor still stuck in 40th place.
Yeah, he is not here.
So something here isn't adding up for him. Maybe just a map that he can't figure out.
That's...
Or maybe a map that he's trained a little bit less, but still, Storm Chaser should be competitive.
Yeah.
The problem really is that Storm is their next closest player in 12. Yeah, Power Rangers. Reagan Hurts with a huge 44.57.
Wow, that's really
That's a
strong.
personal best in a Daddy 13.
There we go.
Yeah, these invalid times are going to derail so many players. Look at this. Spider has an invalid time. He has to reconnect. He has 2 minutes, and he needs to improve. This is actually going to be a game
crazy.
changer.
But are they reconnecting? I don't see anyone reconnecting to the server.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe they just have to erase the lap. Maybe in time attack it is less punishing than it is in endurance or rounds.
Right.
But in endurance, if you get an invalid time, you're just screwed.
Wow.
But
But
this is very difficult to decipher in terms of the finishing positions of the various teams. Lucky Shot actually put in a 7th place time,
and look at
44.52. Panda.
Ho, ho, ho.
That would have been
Holy
Daddy
moly.
1 before Dopamine's lap.
Yeah.
Before
that's
Dopamine's
crazy.
lap, that would have been Daddy 1.
That is
Wow,
a
that's
huge
insane.
one. Holy moly.
And now Yuki actually puts up a 44.8, which now, I mean, FKX Platinum are still going to salvage huge points from this.
Yeah. Yeah, they are looking really strong. Again, compared to Peony Orange with Extreme in 17th. It's looking good for FKX Platinum.
Yeah, between Spider and Aircrawl, I kind of think Power Rangers are going to take a significant victory. Look at this. First, 6th, 8th, 9th.
Yeah, that's super strong.
Panda and Kez are there, but it's not enough.
No.
It's not enough, and suddenly the comeback that Peony Blue were mounting is actually going to be derailed.
And I
Derailed
think,
because of these things, or simply because it was hard to put a difficult time together.
yeah. Yeah, because even before we saw the resyncs, I think it was difficult for some players to put the time on the board. As everyone seems to be done now, at least from the top 16.
And the thing is that some of these players like Mew, Truo, Push, they put in very good times, but overall, their team is not going to benefit significantly from it.
No. That's
That's
the
gonna
interesting
feel
thing
bad.
here. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Because you drive really well and then still your team is not maybe really...
Yeah, because now look at what's happened. Both, like, Storm Chasers are still competitive, but Power Rangers took a significant victory. So now it's a question of, has Peony Blue's performance on the first two maps been enough to actually pull it back?
Yeah.
I'm not sure it has.
And that would be an interesting one for the point team in the end. I think to see that. This map was again very, very interesting. Some good stuff on the board. Some players putting in really good times, others really struggling with the Interruptor as well. We see some other big names.
Aircrawl only in 45-0 and 28th.
Yeah.
I mean,
Dolan
it's not a bad
didn't
time
improve.
to be sure, but you know, Miracle, KWS ahead of you, a lot of FKX players ahead of you. You want to do more.
Yeah.
Especially because Power Rangers, you know, their weakest players are putting up 44.8, and those 2/10 made all of the difference. And it really was 2/10 of a second that made all the difference.
Yeah.
Fascinating thing to consider.
Very, very interesting. These three maps went super fast because we already arrived at what will be the last map of the evening. Another 15-minute time attack. That was really fast. And if you are a racer competing in this event, then that 15 minutes is gone before you know it. So last chance here for the players.
You lose a lap. Like on the past two maps, if you've been losing one lap, you could lose two.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very harsh. Very unforgiving there as well.
I mean, the maps have been exceptional. I need to say this. Yeah. Like the amount of skill that top players are expressing on these maps is insane. But also just the difference between like an 80% lap and a 100% lap it's huge.
Yeah, that's huge in time attack.
Yeah, 44-2 and 44-8 is the end of page 1. This is the biggest difference on page 1 we've seen all day long.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then on the final map, you get put on Chrysalis by Focus. The Daddies are again 0.8 of a second separating Daddy 1 and Daddy 30 is the biggest we've seen all night long.
Yeah.
At least I believe it was.
Yeah.
And again, strikes me like a map where again you can get stuck in this rut that you can't get out of.
Yeah.
And also putting in a push lap versus a safe lap, yeah. I feel like after map 1, you know, in map 1 you had the opportunity in a way to bank in a good lap and then not have to worry because the difference wasn't that big, whether you were risking or weren't risking. Here, I feel like the same thing doesn't apply. So you had one chance of an easy map to get you into the night so you can stabilize in peace, but after that, it has been balls to the wall. And while I think all players have adapted well, I don't think it's going to make a big impact on the overall standings. It's hard to pick out an overall winner of the evening because it has been so close between like the top 5 or 6 squads.
Yeah. Yeah, that's super interesting. I think that's very nice to see in this time attack that we get that close battles as we are spectating you actually here going through this map. Interesting section here with the little drop down, little up and down there.
Yeah, and obviously I'm definitely not to be consulted for high level gameplay at this rate, but the point is that again, very, very high speed map.
Yeah.
very high-speed map, and again, carrying in lap speed from the previous lap and trying to take it into this 180 at the beginning is a very, very, very strange one. It sort of acts as a complete speed nullifier for what you carried over from the previous lap, but you still have like 8 to 10 seconds beforehand where you can take advantage from it. So players might even be incentivized to take aggressive ends of laps simply because they can take it through the first 10 seconds pretty easily and then slow down in a controlled manner in the 180.
Ah, that might be interesting.
That might actually dial in the variance a little bit between the top players, which is why I'm so surprised actually that the Daddies are as different as they are, because playing through the map itself, you don't feel like there's a lot of places where you can gain or lose a significant amount of time. Players will be risking, but I feel like risking comes pretty natural to you on this map. It doesn't require you to maybe be stressed out to the same degree that you would have had to be on the previous one, on the second map especially.
Yeah, that's very interesting difference there.
I might actually just settle up on this one just out of curiosity's sake, because
all right.
I genuinely, I normally am able to sort of bring to you analysis of what makes a certain map tick and try to maybe enhance the understanding for some of our newer viewers of how certain maps in NASCAR work. But this one, the Daddies and the map in reality, I cannot explain to you how this is possible. I genuinely do not understand where the top players are drawing this difference from, and I think this might be very instructive if you see like a top lap being dialed in again by a player like Dopamine.
Yeah.
You might get answers to questions you didn't even know you had. Which I think is a rare privilege as a NASCAR player.
Yeah, that's very true. That's
because honestly, none of the elements on this map are what I would call complex or complicated. Players should intuitively understand how this is to be driven, but somehow the Daddy difference is bigger than it is on any previous map, which is definitely not what I had in mind.
That will be interesting to see. We'll keep a close eye on Dopa, Plasto, Steak, Focus, who all have top daily times here. Let's see where they get their speed from, as we are on Panda at the moment. Going through his first series lap.
This is your chance to take us through the magic. This is where you can shine a light on the things that I seemingly can't. Maybe if you notice some particular niceties about the line or a place where laps are often lost, maybe this helps us reveal the secrets in real time.
Yeah, let's keep a close eye up until this point. I think a lot of players crashed or drifted from the top.
Yeah, definitely a lot of risk and lots of like high-speed corners. Focus actually has a very competitive Daddy on this map. It needs to be shouted out. He is the mapper, to be sure, but that might actually be crucial points for Storm Chasers.
Yeah, the first to put in what I would call a decent time already on the board is like top 20 daily, 47.03 for him. Slimo in second position now with a 47.23, which is also a top daily, top 30 daily time. So let's see, the big names still.
The flow of this map is superb. I have to shout Focus out. This
feels really nice.
Just like a joy to play, even not having significantly played it before. It really needs to be said. This map back has been delivering in rounds mode and in time attack.
Very nice. There we go. Slimo with an improvement.
And honestly, for 40, the Slimo with a 47.1 is probably going to be huge for Cruz.
I think so as well.
I think 47.1. You're already talking about times which are probably going to be safe for the rest of the.
Regenhurst as well. 47.06. Already, I think low 47 is already looking good there. Slimo, very nice. Raptor is there as well. Kush, still waiting.
Kush has been phenomenal with that one lap on, I think, this first or second map where he basically equaled Einstein.
Crazy.
He has been firing on all cylinders. He as a player generally has blossomed over the past couple of years into an absolute force. He played a big role in Bro's campaigns in the Essence team on several occasions, so definitely a player to be shouted out.
There we
go.
And
I think Stiko has set a very good time right now.
47.02, so the first one to go under Focus time here. Take first position.
Interesting one.
It's very nice. Ekström now as well with a 47.06. Dopa with a 46.79. That
But
is
interestingly enough,
top
that's
5.
2.5. That's still 2.5 tenths behind his personal best.
Yeah.
Which is fascinating to think about.
Yeah.
Because look at the differences between everybody and then sort of like try to visualize how much there is still in this map to be unlocked.
Let's see, Dopa continuing with a lot of speed into this lap. Now 1/10 below his daily time and even improving still. Is he
And it's
going to do some
fascinating.
alien stuff?
Regenhertz is on a Regenhertz put up a good time. Racerlight put up a good time. So now Power Rangers have really beaten back Peony Blue. It feels like, unless something rapidly changes.
Ooh, Dopa, no. He was on a sick daily, but
Devil.
Devil,
Ooh, that's
wow.
a time and a half.
46.73.
And look at this between Devil and Focus. This could actually be the map that
Yeah.
significantly they claw back.
Yeah.
Ekström put in a 47.0, which I think is going to be crucial later on. But now True and New have to chime in because Casper and Yuki already have with 47.2s. Drop is still on page 1, but I do not think that time will be enough to save when the times come in, as we cross the 10-minute threshold.
Interesting to see Slimo is still there with the 47.13. Also Avi in the top 16 at the moment.
Yeah, Kez now dials in a 46.8. Peony Blue need to start clawing it back, or suddenly Power Rangers are going to overhaul everything they did on the first two maps.
Yeah.
And Storm Chasers are going to have, I think, a big map here between Devil and Focus, the mapper himself. And maybe if one of Almara or Raptor chime in, I think they might be safe for now.
Yeah, Raptor already with a 47.35, so a little bit better than what we saw last map.
Because remember,
top
getting
16.
the top 2 position is going to secure you an easier semifinal, which is what every team will be wanting to do when you see the strength of a team like Peony Blue or Power Rangers.
Yeah.
And Storm Chasers are in a position to fight for second place. They are going to be in Division 1. Their performance is consistently high level to the point they will be there, but they might run into a brick wall in the semifinal if they can't avoid it here. Because I think the gap between the top 3 teams and the 4th placed one has been pretty significant in the whole affair.
Interesting. Oh, Devil,
Devil.
gonna even improve that. 46.7.
It's just 100 of a second,
Super mini
which I don't think is
improvement.
going. Yeah, it's also he's already top 1, and that's already a time that is easily good enough. So probably not going to gain as much from it as you might expect at first glance when you see.
Maybe
time
good
at that level.
for the mental that he knows that maybe he can even improve some more.
Yeah, I think
Who knows?
that goes without saying. But yeah, Power Rangers are currently significantly winning over Peony Blue. I don't see Panda anywhere. I don't see Aircroll is now the one sort of holding down the fort. But if you think about it, all evening he has been the one, just putting in reliable points from the back. And I don't think it's going to go much differently on this map unless he finds a big improvement. So now Spider and Panda, they need to show up. Otherwise, this is going to be a wash for Power Rangers.
Panda is on a very good lap here. Let's see. Only 0.02 from Daily 1. Can he finish this lap?
Well, they're going to need a lap like that, let me tell you, because Power Rangers fearsome display of consistency.
Panda, extraordinary lines here. Your screen. Let's see if he can. Not quite for him. Will be an improvement. Oh no, he drifts out before the finish. Oh, that is not good. He still puts in a top 9 time with that drift, but he completely wall slammed it before start finish. 47.11 for him. Important for Peony Blue because he was very far.
To be fair, Ekström, True, and Mew have definitely mitigated a loss to FKX. It feels like this time they're definitely a step above.
Yeah.
So FKX heading into the second half of this map on time, heading into the last 7 minutes of today's time attack. If they want to maintain the advantage they've built up so far, they're going to need to get another demon time. Regenhertz has put in a massive time with that 47.0. That's going to be
very
incredibly important to their stability as a team.
That's looking good. Nice anchor there. Lisa Light, what is he doing? Still in 11th position. Really his lap now. Goro putting in a top 14 time. Naz now as well. Top 13 time for
yeah, and
FT.
Goro putting in that time is going to be big because it puts itself ahead of Mew. And now FKX have that depth again, so pretty good.
Let's see, where's Mu? further down. 18th position at the moment.
And as you can see, maybe a little bit of frustration for certain players with this map,
Yeah.
which I can see this.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. But still 6 minutes to go, so instead of chatting, everyone should be trying to
I
perform
agree.
here.
And just help your own mental and help the mental of your team by staying focused on the track. That's big from Panda.
Wow, Panda 46.64. Wow.
That's going to be big for Peony Blue.
That
as
is
a
a
whole.
top 3 daily time just like that. That is crazy.
Yeah, you're really reminded that this is the kind of player that has won the SNC before.
Absolutely.
He's not looking to be overhauled by anyone here.
Oh, and that is... It's gonna be a tough time to beat, for sure. That's really, really good. Devil also looking good there still. FKX Platinum indeed.
Trimo is still in 10th. I just
Yes.
want to shout that out.
That's with that 47.13 that he set in like 2 minutes. He's still there. Good shout out, yeah.
And that's fascinating. You know, even I'm drawing this map and I'm seeing it for, you know, firsthand how difficult it is.
Yeah.
You know, sitting, I'm not here for high level gameplay, but dialing in a decent lap, genuinely very difficult. And suddenly you begin to understand the differences between the top and the middle of the pack player.
Very, very interesting. Let's see, a Kroll. I'm not quite on a lap here. Muse still not improving.
I mean, Panda being in first is nice, but where's the rest of his team other than Kess?
Exactly.
The problem is the Power Rangers have put up a lot of very good times.
Yeah.
And Spider and Aircrawl have to sort of bring up the back. Or
Spider did it now.
losing points.
Yeah, Spider with a 46.89, improving to 5th place. So all of a sudden,
going
Peony
to-
Blue, that's huge.
Yeah, that's going to be very big for them, especially because they are trailing in a way, Storm Chasers, so they needed to do well today.
Yeah.
And thankfully they've done just that, so reminding us why this team is one of definitely the teams that we expect to be hoisting that trophy or placing in the podium positions in the overall tournament.
Yeah, and talking about Storm Chasers, we got Davo in 2nd, we got Focus in 11th, but then we are missing the next player. Raptor is in 22nd position. So not really showing up yet. Also Valmara not improving. So Storm Chasers, maybe not what they expected here. Still 3 minutes 40 seconds
There
to
are
improve still, but
32 players within 1 second, and that is
that's
you
crazy.
would, you would expect people to be much closer than this.
Yeah.
Again, very fascinating how these gaps are opening up on the map. Where again, if you drive this map, you do not intuitively think that anything about it is out of the ordinary, but yet the map has such a high skill ceiling. I think again, testament to the great work of the mappers. That they are able to design maps which are easy to play, hard to master.
Yeah,
Exactly
that's-
what you want
That's
in a
exactly
competitive
what you
map.
want. Yeah.
I mean, these are timeless, right? You expect this to become the mainstay of like NASCAR servers
Yeah.
for a long time to come, if that happens. And 3 minutes only remain.
3 minutes remain as Casper puts in a top 8 time, 46.95 for him. Very important as
Now
well.
Peony
for,
Orange, my friend, Peony Orange,
Platinum.
my friend, is also
Yeah.
in big trouble.
Yeah, because they have Truo in 7th, and that's it. That's literally it. Oh, Ekstrom in 13th, sorry. I didn't see him there. But still, Yop and Mu, they did not improve. And with only 2.5 minutes left,
They need to do it now.
oh, can Mu clutch here again? Saw him do it
Yeah,
before.
I mean, it took him exactly. We know he's capable of it, and we know
Yeah.
he's capable of an amazing pace. So just needs to put it together.
Who else do we got here? We got Goro in 17th for FKX Platinum. Holding it down there, also important. Panda still first, really nothing
The
changing
level
there.
of- The level of players is absolutely mental. I just want to
Yeah,
point that out.
with all the players here, we also have all the grades here. It's really fascinating to see indeed. We see multiple 46, which is really, really strong. 46 time, that's top 20 daily time.
This is Mew's last chance, by the way. He just crashed out, so he'll have enough speed to commence another flying lap with these boosters. I think he'll have enough speed at least. But if he loses
see.
the next lap, it might be over for him.
Yeah.
So if he wants to crank out 2 laps, he actually has to make 0 mistakes from this point forward. And it's hard to imagine, right, that you can put two very strong laps together. So this is realistically his final opportunity to make it count for Peony Orange.
Let's see, they
Peony
need
Orange
it there.
need it.
Yeah.
They need it.
Can Mio clutch again? 1 minute 10 seconds on the clock here.
This is a good start of the lap. If I were him, I would just immediately stop risking. You just need to put a time that is slightly more representative than the one you currently have. You do not need to put it all on the board. Sure, it's nice for Peony Orange, but you don't need to. Okay, this is very good from you. This is very good from you. This is still easily enough to put the points he needs on the board. Just needs to send it home. One corner to go.
Last. Oh, but teach.
That's a release, but it's fine.
All right.
It's fine.
It's done. Where does it put
Actually,
him here?
no.
No, where is he?
That wasn't enough.
Wait, was that even... Was that counted? Yes.
Something, the timer
Okay, what
clearly...
happened?
The timer clearly disagreeing with us. But...
Nah, well, I'm not sure. He was like minus 0.3 from his deity,
I mean,
and he only has the
Peony
14th
Blue-
deity.
Peony Blue are the winners of this map, but by much slimmer of a margin than it seems. In fact, I think Power Rangers won it just because Racerlight is their 4th players in 10th, whereas Eric Kroll is in 21st.
Yeah.
But this is going to be very difficult to actually judge. I'm very interested for the results of this evening.
Yeah, me too. I can't really call it at the moment. We've seen some very strong performances, but as you said before, it's super cluttered in the top 16, I feel like, on every map. So it's super hard to pinpoint one team here. That is very, very interesting. All right. And just like that, we played 4 maps. And that's it.
It was over in a flash, yeah.